everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a build of a Route 66 motel. For anyone who doesn't know, Route 66 is one of the most famous federal highways in the United States. When it was being used, it ran from Chicago to Los Angeles, and until we had interstate highways, it was one of the main ways that people would travel throughout the United States. So the route went through a lot of like small towns and stuff along the way. So because of that, a lot of smaller like mom and pop businesses popped up in these small towns so that people who were traveling had places to stop and eat and, you know, maybe pick up a couple of things. And then of course they would need a place to stay overnight because it's a long drive. So there's a bunch of these like old motor lodge style hotels and motels that are along the route. Unfortunately, today the route is no longer used because we have a better highway system. So a lot of these old route motels are now gone, or if they're still around, they're in really bad shape. But there are some that are, you know, hanging in there. So I decided to create my own kind of interpretation of it in The Sims. This is sort of also based on the Disney movie Cars. If you've ever seen it, Radiator Springs is on Route 66. And you can kind of see like the effect that having that big highway go around Radiator Springs has on the town. Because now there's nobody coming through, so businesses suffer, and, you know, it's sad. But, so, in my build, I wanted to make the lobby look like it had been really well cared for. Like, the current owners have put a lot of time and effort into making it more modern and updated, and even though the outside of the building is kind of old and, you know, not the best, but it's hanging in there. But I wanted, you know, a good first impression if you were coming into the lobby of the hotel. So you'll see, especially once I start doing some furnishing here, the lobby is nice. It's definitely, you know, more of the American Southwest style with like tile floors, and the furniture that's used is not really very modern or sleek or anything like that. And my neighbor has just turned on his motorcycle. Awesome. I don't know if you can hear that, but if you can, I'm sorry. But once you get into the actual rooms, they're not in very good shape. So either, you know, maybe they ran out of money and didn't have the extra money to be able to remodel the rooms, or maybe they just thought, hey, you know, people, once they go into the lobby, they don't, you know, if they've gotten a room, they've gotten a room. We have their money. Who cares if the room is not great? So, you know, you can sort of tell that story as you want, but so the rooms are pretty crappy, but the lobby and the breakfast area are much nicer, and I tried to make the outside look like nice but not overly nice. Like, this is not a fancy place. It's not a 5-star hotel by any means. It's just a place to stop, relax, and have a bed to sleep in at night, and that's about it. So I also realized, because growing up, we traveled on family vacations usually by car. Like, I think we had one trip where we flew in a plane instead of driving ourselves. And I always remember my dad would pull into like this overhang in front of the motel, and that's where you would park your car when you would go inside and like check in, or if you didn't have a reservation, you would see like, hey, do you guys have any rooms available tonight or not? So I decided to add on that little feature. And, you know, because this motel is meant to be in the American Southwest and it's really hot, I thought, you know, this is definitely the type of place that would have a pool. It's probably not a very big pool or a very nice pool. There's no, like, diving platform or anything like that, but it's definitely something you would see, and it's, you know, very much appreciated. So, and, oh yes, so now I am trying to find the right signage, because obviously we don't have functional hotels or motels or anything like that in the game. So this is just a residential lot. So the signage that I had to use is like for a bar, I think is what it's meant for, but it gets the job done, and it really does look like the type of like neon signage that you would see. in one of these old motels. So I thought it worked, and in all honesty, there's probably beer and darts that happen in this hotel anyway. So yeah, so now I am finishing up making the parking spaces for the cars that we don't have in the game. But, I decided to do the trick of blowing up one of those kid toy cars, and it seems to work. I also put in a handicap parking spot just because I thought that was something nice to have kind of off to the side and near the front door. And then I go through and I do some landscaping and make it seem like more Southwest. Even though the world that I put this in is a desert world, the best fitting lot for it is one that's like naturally green and lush instead of desert sandy. So I then have to go through and change the floor because I don't like the green grass for this. This is definitely like in the middle of the desert, like the only greenery is like a cactus. So and of course palm trees. You can't not have palm trees. So yeah, so here I am just going through and putting in different types of greenery. I wasn't 100% sure what to put in besides like a bunch of different cacti. So I have some of those kind of brush shrubbery looking daisies, I think is what they are. I'm not even really sure. And then eventually I do put in a little bit more landscaping over by the pool area too. And oh yeah, I found a cute little like pool net with a life buoy thing. I've never noticed that before in the game. I was like, ooh, well this works. So, and I briefly entertained the idea of having the pool be like a dirty color, like the pool is kind of run down, but that brown water is just so gross. I could not use it. It's like sewage. It was too dirty. And then for the patio table, I wanted it to kind of look like that cheap white plastic furniture, like nothing fancy at all. And, like the most bare bones looking grill, but, it's there. It's a place to, grill up your dinner and then sit at a little table by the pool. So it's nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. So now I am going to continue doing more landscaping over here by the pool. I think you'll see in a second. I very, very briefly just thought about putting in a monkey bars set. But then I looked at it in the preview picture and I was like, that looks really strange. And why would you have monkey bars right there next to the road in a parking lot? Like, it just didn't make sense. So I just thought, we'll put in more landscaping and make this look even more like the American Southwest. So yeah, more shrubberies, more rocks, more cacti, a couple more palm trees. And I think, so now we're going in and we're doing the kitchen area and the breakfast bar area for the continental breakfast in the morning. And then I also put in like just a general lounge room. I mean, there's like a TV and a couple of couches in there. It's really nothing too exciting, but I thought that was a good way to kind of make it more of like a communal hangout area instead of just a lobby. So, especially because the stuff, once we get to the rooms, you'll see the stuff that's in the rooms is really not great. So, if you wanted to have a nicer place to sit down or use a nicer TV, you would definitely have to come to the lobby. And again, I tried to make the kitchen look nicer, but still a little plain, a little outdated. Obviously, since this isn't a functional hotel, it's not like we have like a kitchen staff who could come in and use it. So it's really just for your Sims to use as a regular kitchen. I did decide to put in the nicer coffee machine because, maybe that's like something the owners thought, hey, we'll give it a quick upgrade by instead of just having like an instant coffee pot, we'll actually have the thing to grind up the beans and make it a little fancier. But it's like I really wanted to try to convey this idea that they were putting in a little bit of effort but not too much effort. Like, just enough to make a difference, and that's about it. So, oh yeah, this was a struggle trying to find something to put on that wall. All of the food paintings that we have in this game are huge. I did decide eventually to put that breakfast picture in, but I wish we had more food pictures that weren't quite so oversized. Oh yeah, and then of course the rubber mats for people to stand on, because, you know, kitchen floors can get kind of slippery and gross. So, and then I wanted the furniture out here to kind of feel like retro, but well maintained. Like, I love those, like, I think they're called like tea-back style chairs from the City Living. I love those chairs. I use them all the time in the game because they, to me, are like, they're cheap, but they're nice looking, and they're not just like, I don't know, just like a regular ladder back chair. So yeah, so this is the lounge living room area. Again, you know, nothing super fancy, just like a nice place to sit down and relax. And I did put in one computer. It's an older computer, obviously, because it's like a big box. But, you know, it can be the quote-unquote business center, which I always get a big chuckle whenever I see, like, a hotel listing online and they're like, oh, we have a business center. And then, you know, like, most of the time it's a computer in the lobby, and half the time it doesn't work and it's not hooked up to anything. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever watched the TV show Hotel Impossible, which I love Hotel Impossible. It's so interesting to me, but 9 times out of 10, the hotel that he goes in to fix, it's like they'll advertise something and then you get there and it's nothing like what they advertised at all. So it's just kind of funny. So then I used the retail counter from Get to Work to be the front desk for check-in. I mean, obviously it doesn't function as check-in since we don't have active hotels in the game, but it gives the illusion, and, you know, a little hand sanitizer thing, and, you know, a fire extinguisher in case something at the front desk were to catch on fire. I don't know, it just sort of seemed like one of those things that you see by a front desk of a hotel, and it probably doesn't ever get used, but it's nice to know that it's there in case it does need to be used in the future. So yeah, I'm hoping that at some point they'll put functioning hotels in the game. I really thought when we got the Outdoor Retreat game pack a couple of years ago that would have been a good time to do it. But I get, you know, just using like the vacation rental houses for that instead. But in Sims 3, I think it was Island Paradise where we got hotels that you could like run yourself. I thought that was like the best thing in the world. I mean, it definitely needed a little bit of tweaking. It was not perfect, but I really liked it. So I'm hoping we get them back at some point in The Sims 4. And so now we're getting into building out the individual rooms. I wanted them to all basically have the same floor plan, just different color variations. Because I know in reality, every hotel room in a real hotel or motel is the exact same, like same floor plan, same wallpaper, same everything. You might just have, you know, some rooms might have a king bed with a jacuzzi tub instead of 2 queens or something like that. But for the sake of this hotel, I thought, okay, we'll do each room in a different color, but then keep the furnishings to be basically the same in every room. So it's still sort of that sameness, but with a little bit of variation, just because I thought doing 5 rooms that were 100% identical would be super boring. So, and of course, with City Living, we got the dingy looking wallpaper and like the dirty carpet. So obviously that's what I picked because, again, I wanted the rooms to look, let's just say they look a little bit well loved. And the cabinets that I used are the ones that are like the used cabinets that came from City Living. I did use just like the regular bathtub shower combo thing. And again, everything in each of the rooms has a bright green toilet because to me that just seemed kind of funny. But I changed the shower curtain for the bathtubs in each room. So, and I don't know why hotels always seem to have like that little like shelf where you could hang up like a bathrobe or I guess back in the day, people would hang up like their suits and their dresses and stuff, so I put that in there by the sinks. And every room has the same bed, which is kind of boring, but again, that's how it would be in an actual hotel. So I figured, we'll just go with like a boring gray bed and make it super simple. And each room has a little table and chairs to sit at. You know, if you didn't want to eat your continental breakfast back in the lobby, you could take it back to your room. And of course, every room gets the same really small old TV, which now that I think about it, I don't think Sims can actually watch TV while they're in bed in The Sims 4. I know they could in The Sims 3, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if your Sims can watch those TVs from the bed. So you might need to like have them sit at the table and chairs instead to watch it, but it should be fine. And then I got like the oldest looking like outdated lamps that I possibly could, just to kind of complete the look here. So yeah, just going in and putting in some kind of boring lighting. I think we still have to do, I still have to put in a couple of paintings, because hotels always have this like really generic, like, oh, it's a flower, oh, it's like a vague beach scene. So I tried to find like the most plain looking pictures that I could that were just like, wow, okay, this is like nothing special at all. So yeah, so we're finishing up here. Just, I think we have outside lights and that's about it, and then screenshots. So anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this. I had a lot of fun building this. I'm really holding on to the hope that someday we will get functional motels and hotels, and then this lot can be transformed. But if not, it's still really fun, and it's just a residential lot, so your Sims can live here if they wanted to live at a hotel or a motel. So yeah, anyways, you can find this lot on the gallery under my origin ID, or you can also use the hashtag Mrs. Tomato 1018 to find it. And I hope you guys have really enjoyed this, because I had a lot of fun making this build. And let me know if you guys have any ideas of what you want to see in the future, and I will talk to you later. Bye!